Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to our. If there are 4 people. Okay, impromptu stream. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to our. Yeah. Okay. So where do we? Let me just. Let's see. I like having these impromptu streams. Anytime somebody's wrong on the internet, it's fun. Okay. So let's start with Jimmy Dore derangement syndrome. Let's see, where do we begin with the Jimmy Dore? Derangement syndrome. Okay, let's see here. I said, let's see, what did I say? Let's see. Hey, oh, nothing really happened. I just was, people are wrong on the internet and I get annoyed, and I should not, instead of doing threads where I have to type on like a small screen and it's inaccurate, and where it's inaccurate and also hard to get just kind of any emotions or anything in, it's better to speak, because when you speak, you can't be misinterpreted so easily. True, they can see your tone for sarcasm, and what else can they see? Your tone. There's sarcasm and humor, your seriousness, everything. So that I think that's just a way more productive than trying to go over and over via text and everyone misinterpreting you because you are limited to 280 characters. That's all. Hey, and John, yeah, I hope, are you, you had okay, well, I'm glad that everyone's having parties. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to address Jimmy Dore derangement syndrome. Oh my God. This is crazy. Okay, do you see Jimmy Dore anywhere in this tweet? What did I say? Don't listen to anyone on strategy unless they overthrew the Tsar and fought 14 imperialist powers and won. Neither Sam Cedar or TYT did this. That's not Jimmy Dore. It has absolutely nothing to do with Jimmy Dore. And yes, we have a secret, not so secret group called Chad Parenti Stands. And if you're wondering what that is, let me show you this funny meme. It's a really funny meme. Can you see it? Sorry, I guess it's the wrong one. I'm bad with Reddit memes. How? I never mentioned Jimmy Dore. I said, don't listen to anyone who's not Lenin. Like, I'm really confused about that. How people are quick to link 2 and 2 together, except, I know, but how do they come up with this? Like, where did Jimmy Dore come into this? I will tell people not to listen to Jimmy Dore because he also did not overthrow the Tsar, fight 14 imperialist powers. What else would they have? Fight 14 imperialist powers, cure illiteracy and homelessness and destitution and hunger, help India and China get its independence and cure smallpox. I don't know. Eradicate, not cure. I'm sorry. They eradicated it. Like, it's just very confusing where Jimmy Dore comes into this thing. It's nuts. I mean, nuts is an understanding. It's like, what? This is deranged. I never mentioned Jimmy Dore. And it's like, why are you bringing him up for no good reason? This is a good theory by Shmoopy Shaboopy. He said, too much echo chambers, so same things keep bounding around in the brains, and maybe we've gotten more obsessive because of capitalism, because repeat. Yeah, that's possible. So they interpret any attack on TYT as being a Jimmy Dore supporter, as opposed to, oh, TYT was wrong. Got it. It's kind of weird. Okay. What is JDDS? What amuses me about is that, Jimmy Dore derangement syndrome. What amuses me about JDDS is that people with it spend more time going after individuals and pretty much show their hand that they actually don't care about issues and massive failures about politicians. I don't know if they don't care, but what it is that they have faith in this secret plan of the squad to like fake it until like it's just some blind dumb faith where they think that if you give the squad enough power, they will, like, I don't know, do something. And they don't understand that nothing happens spontaneously. Everything has to be planned. And if you can't like operate on faith, you have to look at evidence and lead you to the conclusion of the evidence. And the main thing with politics is you have to look at how somebody acts around power, because when you are a nobody, there's absolutely no consequences to standing up to power. I mean, because they know that you're useless. And and when you're somebody like AOC or somebody, standing up to power is much harder because it has consequences. By the way, even before Pelosi, there was Karl Kautsky from Tsarist Russia, from Kaiser's Germany, not Tsarist Russia. I'm so sorry. And then there is Struve from Tsarist Russia. With Struve, I think it's Piotr. Let me figure out what his name is, because I don't want to misinform, because my trolls. Oh, I forgot the Chad Parenti thing. Hold on. Well, let's first do Struve, and then we'll circle back to the Chad Parenti at the end. Okay. So with what's his name? Struve. Let me Google. From Tsarist Russia. Yeah, it is Piotr Struve. I think. How do I say? Yeah, it is Piotr Bernagradovich Struvia. Okay. And he started out as a Marxist theoretician, and he even wanted to form the Russian Social Democratic and Labor Party. Let me see if I can open up so you guys can see a picture of him. It's kind of, I always like to show pictures of people because it's much easier to kind of, can you see him? If you have a name with a face. Okay. That is Piotr Struvia. And so he started out as a Marxist theoretician. And then he got elected to the Tsar's first Bulgarian Duma, and he then became a revisionist. So he then became a Menshevist. And then he became a cadet. But then, by the time World War I came around, he became a czarist. We're talking Piotr Struve, sometime around like 1900 to 1915. So it is a very, very common thing. In fact, these are political phenomenons that constantly happen, but they don't want to give you the vocabulary for that because so yeah, they don't want to give you the vocabulary for that. So you don't even understand it. For example, let's see if I can somehow make this whiteboard thingy happen. Let's see. How do I do? Let's see if this can happen. Okay. Maybe. Okay. Let's see. No. Let's see. How do I do this? Oh, I'll just do this. Okay. So they don't want to give you the vocabulary for it. So let me see if I can make I know. I'll just try to make a word cloud of all the words they won't teach you. So the first thing is they won't okay. So when there's liquidationism, liquidationism is let me see if I can share this. By the way, like, subscribe, donate, do all the good things that you're supposed to do. Can you see this? Okay, so the first word is liquidationism. Liquidationism is basically where your political views kind of become liquidy, as in if you are like Medicare for all, that's very solid. You can't wiggle around, like literally solid as in like a big brick. You can't wiggle around. There is no wiggle room. We all know what it means. You can't actually we just know what it means and what's going to be implemented. But when you say affordable access to universal health care, that has a lot. That's not solid. That's liquid in that it gives you some. It's like you know how liquids can go to the shape of the container, and it becomes whatever the container wants you to become, as opposed to a solid. Like you can't put a brick inside of here with that, but you can put coffee in here. So that's literally the most physical thing. Liquid, like, oh no, yes. If somebody can find me a clip of him becoming his liquid state, I would love to do it. Exactly. But so if somebody, so the thing is with liquidationism, it is a sign of the second word. Let's see, opportunism. Let's see. Let's make it okay. So now can you see what I'm, okay, this is kind of cool. Okay. So it is a sign for opportunism, and opportunism, let's see, how do we do this? I mean, we all know what opportunism is, but let's figure out, let's get, okay, let's see if this works. Let's see, is this working? Okay, opportunism, that means basically putting your personal goals above that of the whole group. I guess that's maybe the best definition. I'm sure somebody else can come up with a better definition. And so liquidationism is a sign of opportunism, as in, because if you cared about the group's political aims as opposed to your own, you would hold unpopular positions that would have consequences. So, and you would not be liquidating your views, like literally turning them into blobby liquids. Like Pramila Jayapal the other day, it was like lowering Medicare for all from Medicare for all. So these are vocabulary words they just don't teach you, because, well, are they going to really show you how to fight for yourself and your rights? No, they don't want you to do that. So now, what we've known from history is that, and again, this is all about how somebody interacts with power. So if somebody capitulates when the consequences are hardly anything and you're just going to lose a congressional seat, they're going to capitulate when the consequences are much more, such as when you're going to be, like I said, yeah, when there's more power and the people in power get more vicious, and there are bigger consequences like losing your life. Can you expect somebody who can't even lose their congressional seat to stand up when the consequence is losing their life? No. So that's the logic. And this, throughout history, is a sign of liquidationism, is a sign that basically it is a sign that they are an opportunist, so they will always put their own political career ahead of the group goals, and therefore they cannot be trusted to advance the group goals. I actually think nuance cuckery is the bigger problem than seeing things in black and white. Nuance cuckery is where you're like, oh, I know that Hermann Göring's brother-in-law and Hitler's friend made the Finnish Air Force symbol that looks like a swastika, and Finland fought on Hitler's side during World War II, and then they participated in the siege of Leningrad and skinned Soviet prisoners alive. But that doesn't mean this Air Force symbol is swastika, is a fascist symbol. Like, that's nuance cuckery. Because it was 1918 and technically the Nazi Party didn't exist. That's nuance cuckery. So I think there's a lot more nuance cuckery than black and white thinking. If they had black and white thinking, it would be really clear that AOC and the squad are opportunists. And it's not their fault entirely, because unless you have a very strong ideological, rigorous education, if you as Howard Zinn says, you can't, like, the train is moving in one direction. So unless you have a very, very strong theoretical and ideological training to withstand the pressures of the dominant hegemony, it's like gravity. They will always go that way. It's just the way it is. And so that's the it's a lot of it is personal. It doesn't mean she's morally inferior. It just means that she's just like every human being, and she has not had the strong, rigorous ideological training. And the reason why she has not had this, there are millions of reasons why she has not had this strong, rigorous ideological training. It really doesn't matter, but she has not, and so this is to be expected. But they think it means that she's a morally bad person. No, it just means she's human. And okay, so those are the two things. Okay, and Okay, so now let's see. Okay, so now let's start with. Okay, I should do a poll. Let me. How do I? Does anyone know how to do a poll? John, if you know how to do a poll, can you? Let me see if maybe I can do. I figured it out. Okay, which one do you prefer? Which one do you prefer? AOCIA or CIA AOC? Exactly. She wants a seat at the capitalist table. She doesn't want you need to like, they're not gonna, the table is a small table. And yeah, yeah, she has no understanding of imperialism. She literally worships Scandinavian social democracies. She's like, I want socialism like Norway. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Matt's here. We're talking about, okay. Can you say hi? Does your sound work? Okay, hold on. Maybe I'm not hearing you for some odd reason. Can you guys hear him? Hello? Can anyone else hear him? Okay, no one can hear him. Okay, it's not my fault. Okay, excellent. So just let me know, Matt, let me know when you get your sound back working. Okay. Yeah, and like I said, and it's like Norway literally was Vidkun Quisling. Don't you know what the word Quisling means? Traitor. Guess which side he fought on. Yeah. So the Scandinavian worship has to do with not looking at things the way they are as opposed to why they are. So yes, Scandinavia looks nice. But why? Because of imperialism. Somebody made it funny, it's kind of funny because I've interviewed I interviewed this Danish bank robber. He's really awesome. And he understands imperialism very much. Torkel Lausen. I should have him back because he wrote another book about imperialism in Sweden. Torkel Lausen is literally the what do you call it? Robin Hood. I'm not kidding. He robbed banks and gave it to Palestinians and South Africans to fight apartheid. So he's about as close as you get to Robin Hood. Yeah, it was really fun. Anyways, so it's kind of funny because Scandinavians actually yeah, let's see if this works. Matt, can you say something? Can you hear us? Hello?
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. All right, we can hear each other.
Okay, excellent. So what we were
Okay, can we backtrack a little bit? I just want to say that it's not that AOC has no understanding of imperialism. She actively supports it and knows exactly what it is.
Okay.
She's an international relations major. She thinks exactly like Ziggy Brzezinski.
Okay. Matt's right.
just want to get that out.
Okay, Matt's right. I'm wrong. Okay. He's absolutely right. She's an international relations from Tufts. I totally forgot about her.
I thought it was Boston University.
Who cares? Same thing.
It doesn't. Yeah, it really doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah. And she was in Niger, Naime for a while. Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't she go on like a USAID mission?
I don't know what it was study abroad in Naime in 20 something. Not that it matters, but it's kind of it's a little disconcerting because if you go to the third world, you should always understand how U.S. propaganda, like the only reason I understand how dumb and bad U.S. propaganda is because I was like India, America, like, and then my dad was in like was working in was working in like back then, like all the things that was going on with development, and so I've been to a lot of like third world countries. So when you go to a third world country, because the people are so poor, they automatically have dialectical materialism as a skill, and there is a limit.
Yeah, it's actually like really amazing. Like when I spent like 6 months of this year like completely homeless, and like these dialectical and historical materialist concepts, like trying to explain it to somebody who like in my city who lives on the quote unquote desirable west side. Like like with a hammer I couldn't beat it into their head, but like homeless people understand it instantly. It's really incredible.
By the way, Matt, you're off camera now.
Oh yeah, I know. I put my phone down.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so
fix my man bun.
Okay, so I will. Okay, I can. I don't know how to minimize your screen.
Yeah, actually, if you could take me off a camera, like just.
But then it will take you off sound. I'm a little worried.
Oh, okay.
So can you? I know. Just put your camera down, and then it'll be a black screen.
Cool. Hold on.
Okay, I don't know how to take you. Okay, yeah, that works. So yeah, that's actually kind of weird, but yes, I know exactly what you mean. I will show.
Well, Ho Chi Minh talked about it, like these brilliant intellectuals, like like cannot understand Marx for the life of them. But you put like once you teach a peasant to read, like you can just drop capital right in their laps, and they get it.
Yeah, I know exactly. Hold on, let me see if I can find that. Found it. Okay, Anarch. I found that Anarch tweet. I call him Anarch. He literally is an.
He calls himself Anarch.
Okay. He literally calls himself Anarch. Yes, you're right. So let's see if I can find the Anarch. Yep, I did. Okay. Thank you so much, Rob. This is so sweet. Thank you. We need the money. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see it. How do I make it bigger? Like this, maybe? Okay. So he said, he said that he asked super. That's fair. I will say, after having people who are very well read and explain it in depth, I understood and found them fun. Okay, hold on. He kept on like asking. He kept on saying he went more and more expertise people about dialectical materialism. And then I said, well, we know that historically have you thought about asking somebody who's illiterate about dialectical material? Oh yeah, he calls himself Anarch. Okay. Okay, so we can call him okay. We are naming him accurately. Okay. We know that historically illiterate peasants in Russia had no problem understanding dialectical materialism. And this is from History of the CPUSA B, where I showed how hard they worked and they learned how to read. And Lenin, what did I say? I need something. I wish I could understand my own notes sometimes. Anyways, yeah. And so... so it's basically not people who can't read because I don't know you can't like that's why U.S. propaganda is much worse, because there's only so much you can lie to like a poor person in India who lives in a hut. You can't lie to them. Like it's really impossible.
I know. Like it's impossible to say to a homeless person that wages increase with productivity and profit margins.
Oh yeah.
Like that. Sorry, that lie is just not getting into a homeless person's skull.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not possible to lie to them in the same way. I mean, you can try it. It's funny because So And idealism, as in the opposite of dialectical materialism, is all based on those who want power, and they are basically trying to justify their existence.
Yeah.
And as to why status quo is necessary. So it's not based on reality. It's based on whatever is necessary. And they don't actually have problems to solve. If you're the Tsar of Russia, everything's magic. You just say food, whatever.
Yep.
And you can chop down trees as a hobby, which is the weirdest hobby. Like, why I won't even bother.
Yeah, like you can't really like probe the brains of the inbred. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's not. But okay, yeah, but he would chop down trees as a hobby, and it's like, what? That's crazy. Not
somebody should have just given him a banjo.
Yeah. But I mean, so that's idealism, and in America, because how do I explain this even? If you're on my Telegram channel, I sent this like really nice Fidel Castro memorandum, like an interview with somebody named Solaris. I don't know who Solaris is, but I don't know if you can see it.
It's a really good movie.
No, it's Solarz, some dude who's interviewing Fidel Castro.
Yeah.
And he explains the difference between third world poverty and American poverty. So let me see if I can find that interview. But
yeah, we've invented the morbidly obese poor person here. Like that doesn't like really occur anywhere else. Like, thank you for like our high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. That's what it is. High fructose corn syrup plus like all the processed foods, and the I mean,
food deserts are a unique imperial core cruelty. They don't exist. Like, I mean, even in like the most imperialized, nation you can think of, like Honduras, like Ecuador, Cuba, like whatever. Like they have these huge problems with like the economic system of imperialism, but almost anybody can like. There's fresh produce like right over there within like eyesight. You can see it here. Like, I mean, you might have to go like 15 miles to get an heirloom tomato.
Exactly. And I heard that some homeowners association ban you from growing fruits in your front yard or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because like they cite like eyesores or something like that.
Like homeowners association are not authoritarian. Like they sound like the worst authoritarians.
HOA. The only people I know who like HOAs are sitting on HOAs.
Yeah,
like,
they sound like
everyone else hates them.
They sound like the worst snitches on earth.
Oh yeah, no. It's like it's terrible. It's a bunch of fucking Karens, like basically acting like the white guard, as close to the white guard as they can get it.
Okay.
Bold, italic, underline, double circle, white.
Yeah, got it. We got the reference. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so we were talking about. Oh yeah. So then let's go to talk about Blackwater. So what happens with liberals is that they are so they know they are not going to win an argument with me, but they will. So they have to strawman my argument into a conservative argument, and then they can hope that.
Yeah, there's a 24-hour propaganda network dedicated to training them how to do that.
Which one?
MSNBC-IA. Like that's been their entire shtick since Trump started doing his whole like vaguely Hitlerian rise to power. Was that entire network became devoted to convincing liberals that everyone to their left is actually to their right.
Okay. The drill twit. Okay, you see, Trueless Worldwide Protection Incorporated, January 19th. She gave them money. This is from the FEC. Like, there's nothing you can say about it. She gave them about $4,000. Yeah. There's, nothing about it. Okay, so why is toolless problematic? Well, let's go to their website and look at.
And just for me, because I'm out of the loop, what is toolless?
Hold on, that's what we're going to talk to right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so toolless, in their website, you can see this. Because of his performance, experience, reputation, and knowledge in the personal protection industry, Mr. Toolless currently has a top-tier client base to include royal family members from Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates.
Oh, just the people I want to protect.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is that it's not about, okay, I don't know whether she needs protection or not. Maybe she does. I don't know. But
she wants you to think she does.
I don't even care.
Because this is going to be her justification for voting for every national security bill that's got that 1/6 stamp on it.
Okay. Well, yeah. So then, the point is that this guy was a Blackwater merc. He worked for Blackwater. He's a Blackwater contractor, and yeah, Blackwater did lots of horrible things in Iraq.
Yeah, you don't need to say much more than that. I mean, like even if like you had no idea what they do, like just tell any native English speaker it's a private security firm named Blackwater.
Yeah.
Like I've played video games where where they don't have villains that sound that obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, so the point is that she feels safe around Blackwater. If somebody is a real socialist like Evo Morales, Blackwater is used to create the Montenegrin deaths. Okay, they weren't Blackwater, but they were. Okay, so
I can promise you, I would not feel safe with a Blackwater bodyguard.
Yeah, none of it. I mean, if you're a real socialist,
I'd rather duck and cover behind a plastic lawn chair. No,
people who are like Blackwater is sent to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's their function. So that's all my point was, that I said, this means that AOC is very different than Evo Morales, Lula, Pedro Castillo. I mentioned some Latin America. I mentioned all the pink tide leaders, and this somehow triggered the libs a lot. So
what doesn't?
My point was that AOC is not a social. Okay, AOC feels safe with Blackwater. Therefore, AOC is not similar to people like Evo Morales, Lula, Hugo Chavez, Pedro Castillo, because
which of course is their chief selling point to her supporters. Like, they just don't like being forced to admit that.
I know that. That's all I.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm not saying that you don't know that. I'm just saying that in general.
No, you're right. It is the deep. Okay. So then, this person said, who's apparently unfollowed me, idiot. Okay, so I unfollowed him too. Okay, now I'm not gonna I was gonna block out his name so that it's I don't dogpile, but now I don't know if I want to do that. I'm not gonna do that. If you still unfollow me, and yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. See, this was not a point that I made. Nailed it to her. Should we fund the police? That's the type of argument that right-wingers use. She wants to defund the police, but she has private security. Private security is one of the most threatened members of Congress. Makes sense. Okay. And I was like, that was not my point, because my point was not that AOC has private security. My point is that she feels safe around these international death squad merchants.
Well, yeah, and honestly, that's not something anybody should be surprised by,
No, no.
given her salary.
Well, given her role as a member of the imperialist
Yeah.
Congress,
Yeah, and like this is what like bothers me is like it's not possible like from the outset for anybody to attain status as a member of Congress in the United States, regardless of either their stated goals or what their actual goals may be, to get in there and actually do a damn thing for regular people. Because the second you are sworn in, you start accumulating almost $200,000 a year. From that point on, you no longer give a fuck about a normal person.
well, I mean, there have been some congressional,
the exception. Like they're like I mean the exceptions are so few and far between and not nearly as meaningful as they're made out to be.
No. But I agree.
Like,
Let me explain. Hold on, wait. Yeah, this is a very important exception. So Dennis Kucinich in 2009 was like the last holdout for single payer. Guess what happened to his seat in 2011? It got gerrymandered away.
Yep, just disappeared.
Yes. Okay. So that's why this exception is very important, because whenever you see them stand up, they get. And Mike Gravel, he kind of got smeared out of the Senate after filibustering, after opposing wars. Which
honestly is a mercy, like compared to like you get in your car and your brakes don't work one day.
Oh yeah, like Orlando Letelier.
Yeah, or like your plane just explodes
like out of that nowhere. Prime Minister of Ecuador, I can't remember. I can't remember his name. Which one was it?
Yeah, I thought that was Allende.
Allende was shot by Pinochet, even though they claim that he shot himself. It just like doesn't make sense. Allende would never shoot himself.
No. The Panamanian guy before Noriega.
Oh, Noriega. The one that Noriega killed. I can't remember. Okay. I have
somebody's plane just exploded in midair, and they said it crashed, but there were like witnesses that said no, it didn't crash. It was in the air, far away from physical objects, and it just vaporized.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was part of the Panama deception.
Omar Torrijos? Yes. It was Omar Torrijos. Okay.
Yeah, these people play for keeps.
Yeah. His plane just went boom. But there was a fake. Dag Hammarskjöld. We did an episode on him too. He was a Swedish guy, basically, he was like, no, you're not building this Katanga ethno-state in Congo. That's psycho. And boom, his plane allegedly had a malfunction in part. But then now we know, if you listen to this episode where I interview the filmmaker, that's not what happened. A centrally insidious American was involved.
Well, that narrows it down.
Yeah. So, Gary Webb is also another great example.
I love that. Expose the Contras and the CIA
and the drugs.
For putting crack into the inner cities. And then, like years later, after your career is in tatters, your reputation is destroyed, you commit suicide by shooting yourself in the head twice.
Yeah.
Like wow, they're not even trying on that one. And have you read the coroner's statement on that?
No.
Okay, you can almost hear the gun cocking to the side of the coroner's head, like in a written statement, where this coroner actually says, suicide by shooting yourself in the head twice is rather common. No, it's not. You can Google that. It's the opposite of common.
Well, you can't. How do you shoot yourself? It's like not your possible.
Okay, sometimes there are other cases of it. This does not actually seem to be what happened with Gary Webb, though.
But
there are cases of it. What happens is people put the gun to their head at they chicken out while they're pulling the trigger, and they sort of blow like a quarter of their head off, and then they have to like finish the job. So, but that doesn't actually seem to be what happened with Gary Webb based on like all the other information surrounding it. But it's hard to tell because mysteriously they classified his autopsy report for like 70 fucking years.
Yeah, so mysterious. I mean, and then JFK, of course, is the most famous one. So yeah.
Yeah.
And if they're gonna do it to JFK, actually JFK was so scared that he
bullet.
Hold on, wait 1 second. Let me explain what JFK did. JFK wanted to do a peace treaty, and he did not trust his own agent. So he had to use a KGB agent clandestinely to send a message to Fidel Castro.
Yep, there you go. And like meanwhile, like if you like actually like look at the report, like there's a fun visual aid that was floating around a while ago that showed like with like a simple line the exact trajectory this bullet would have had to have taken to do what the governor. This freaking bullet followed the same trajectory as the Konami code. Left, right, up, down, A, B, start. Like absolutely.
And then how did it hit the governor in the neck? Like that doesn't even make sense. It's just not possible.
And it had to like ricochet, yet somehow was pristine when it fell on this gurney.
Oh yeah, you actually let me see if I can do if I find the Michael Parenti video. Actually, I won't. I'll link it later. But yeah,
that's like an hour long.
oh yeah, no, Michael. But that's a really good one. Gangster Nature of the State is one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's really like very stupid.
Yeah, no, it's honestly like it's offensive. They expect anybody to believe this. So naturally, Noam Chomsky fully supports the Warren Commission.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, hold on. Let's stay on topic. Just one quick. Let's finish AOC and then we'll do Chomsky trolling. That'll be fun. Okay. Okay. So now, so then my point was that she does not feel safe. So then this guy is like, did you read the tweet? Blackwater is bad. Are you stupid? We are voting to dismantle the police department in Minneapolis. Okay, so for that, like we are like, do you not understand?
You see, I prefer what happened like in the immediate wake of the George Floyd protests. That other city council that it didn't even come up for a vote. They just like abolished the local police department, like the council by itself, out of sheer panic.
Oh yeah, they didn't really abolish it because they reestablished it,
but still.
Okay, so then I explained to him what a constitutional illusion is. Here's another vocabulary word. Okay, let's add this. Constitutional illusions are what we call a political error. When people believe in the existence of a normal, juridical, orderly, and legalized, in short, constitutional system, although it does not really exist.
And to put this in like extremely specific language that anybody can understand, there are no rules. They are actively making it up as they go along. Anytime you seek any sort of advantage and it looks like you're going to win, the rules will magically and instantaneously change. The rug pulled right from underneath you.
Exactly. I mean, it's happened before. The Supreme Court ruled that
the parliamentarian. Wait. Who the fuck ever heard of the parliamentarian?
Yeah, and it's not okay. Well, okay. If the Constitution, or if the Geneva Conventions does not stop Joe Biden from bombing Syria, then there's no bloody way that the parliamentarian can stop Biden from doing what he wants to do. And it's really stupid. Yeah. Anyways, I mentioned what a constitutional. Okay, this is why I was the thing is that, well, I would not say it's pointless. There may be purposes, but we should discuss that when and if it's relevant. We should not obsess about voting because it doesn't even matter. I mean, okay.
Well, here's my thing.
Oh, wait. We should not talk about voting until October 30th of 2022 is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, well, here's my thing about voting in the United States is when every single member of the United Nations, except for Israel and the United States, votes to end the embargo on Cuba, and that embargo doesn't end, why the fuck would I ever want to vote in the United States?
Oh, yeah. Well, sure. But let's not talk. But this is the obsession that people do. Is that they always break everything down to voting as though it's a meaningful act. And like I said, I will refuse to talk about voting for any election until October 30th, or no, let me check when the election in November of 2022 is. It is November 8th. Okay, I will refuse to talk about voting until November 6th, 2022.
Even then, I might leave you to do that alone.
Yeah, but I'm not going to talk about elections until November 6th, 2022. And anyone who brings that up is like a counter-revolutionary. I've declared that. And I'm always, it's counter-revolutionary to...
Yeah, no, participating in bourgeois democracy.
Like no. Obsessing over elections until November 6th, 2022 is counter-revolutionary.
Well, it doesn't matter. And even in that specific instance at that point,
who cares? I mean, I know, but I don't want these trolls. Please. Shh, no more. Don't bring trolls upon me. So just let it be. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let's go on. I'm sorry. I can't deal with the dumb trolls who are then going to be like, you're going to. So we'll talk about it anytime anyone else. Okay. So now, so I clearly did, what did I say? I said, you don't have the power. It's a moot point. Well, let's look at, this is the funniest part. Let's look at the bill to defund the police and what the bill does. Your guys are going to laugh at this. Ready?
Ready.
Minneapolis voters will decide whether to replace the police department with a public safety department.
That'll fix the problem, don't you know?
Okay, so
I'm glad to know that whoever was involved in drafting this bill, what they lack in common sense, they certainly make up for in self-esteem.
Okay. Let's read the bill. I'm going to find the bill and read it so that we can dispel the idea that you are actually voting to what the hell?
Yeah, I'm very interested to know the difference between the police department and the public safety department.
About my famous meme about how to fool liberals. Let me show you that meme.
Oh, I love that meme.
Okay. Okay. Let me show you this. My favorite meme. Okay. So let give me 1 second. Okay. So how do you fool Western liberals? Okay. So step one, you see these swastikas? Remove it. And that's it. That's about it. Actually, literally that. So this is a Nazi, and this is a pro-democracy protester. That's it. Like literally.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you had that. You had the. I watched the argument play out over the Hungarian revolt in '56. That these anti-Semitic, pro-Christian, pro-German, ethno-nationalists, like fighting against communist radicals released from concentration camps.
I don't know. Fanatical communists.
Fanatical communists released from concentration camps could not fighting against fanatical communists released from concentration camps could not possibly be Nazis because the CIA does not call them Nazis.
Even though even though they literally fought on Hitler's side.
They were like personally given medals by the. Like, I always forget the. I always want to call him like Hagar the Horrible.
Miklos Horthy.
Yeah, Horthy. Yeah, like he put medals on these people like during World War II on the side of the Axis. But these fucking goons who like start a riot and like start killing Jews in the street couldn't possibly be Nazis. Nope, they're freedom fighters.
They lynched us.
Like, thank you, anarchists.
And then okay, public safety. Wait, what is it? I'm trying. Okay, Minneapolis votes for the public safety. Matt, can you talk about something random while I try to find this bill?
Oh, okay. So while that's happening, I'm while I'm here for a little bit, I'm about to probably have to sign off in a little bit to start working on the article about.
Oh yeah, actually, this is a great. Okay, let's. Okay, oh my god, seriously. Okay, I found the bill. Okay, are you guys ready for this? Are you guys ready for this?
Oh, my body is ready.
Okay, this is okay. I went on Ballotopedia. Let's check this. The ballot title is "Shall the Minneapolis Charter be amended to strike and replace the police department with the Department of Public Safety that employs a comprehensive public health approach, which would include licensed peace officers," and then on brackets it says police officers.
Seriously?
Yeah, if necessary.
So like they can't even bother to like just like meaninglessly change the name in the bill where they meaninglessly change the name. They put police officer in brackets.
Yeah, they have, which would include licensed peace officers, police officers, if necessary, to fulfill responsibilities for public safety, with the general nature of amendments being general nature, as in not the specific amendment, general nature being briefly indicated in the explanatory note, which is made part of this ballot. So this is not part of the ballot. Okay, the amendment would create a new Department of Public Safety, which would combine public safety functions of the city of Minneapolis into a comprehensive public health approach to safety, with specific public safety functions to be determined, as in it is not concrete, to be remember, liquid, solid. You want bills to be like bricks, you don't want it to be like coffee. Include licensed peace officers, brackets, police officers, if necessary.
They did it twice.
Yeah, to fulfill the responsibilities of the Department of Public Safety, to be led by a commissioner of public safety. Yeah,
because the old guys didn't have commissioners.
Process for the commissioner would include a mayor nomination.
We're gonna give him a bat public safety signal too.
Yeah. And a city council appointment, which is exactly the way you also nominated police commissioners in the city. The mayor would not have complete power over the establishment, why not, and command of the department. He's an elected official who would.
I'm starting to think this is like a conspiracy to like just get us to waste our time debating whether or not these people are like pure evil or just lack any discernible imagination.
Okay, it doesn't even matter. But this is not voting to defund the police. This is
This isn't
voting.
shit. Like this is like renaming a post office, but everybody has a gun.
Exactly. Yeah. So clearly, the city of Minneapolis is not voting to defund the police because the police is the most important state apparatus member. So now, this guy is such an idiot. Okay. Yes, I think that is stupid. Okay. Okay. Defunding the police. No, I don't. Okay, let me just address this because this is a dumb smear. I don't think defunding the police is stupid. I think you thinking that this bill to defund the police will actually defund the police is stupid. You are stupid. Not defunding the police is. You are stupid. You are stupid. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The difference between you and me is that, like, I actually want to defund the police and know what that will take.
Yeah. Okay. So then I again explained the idea of constitutional illusions. And the funny thing about people who's never read Lenin is that they project upon project bourgeoisie politicians upon Lenin. So he's like, let me share it again.
Lenin the Warren staffer. Like, I'll never forget that. I will take that to my grave.
Oh yeah. I watched that Lenin. Okay, we'll get that to.
Yeah.
Lenin was never wrong in sarcasm, and I'm like, okay, tell me when he was wrong. Literally.
Yeah, I said that too. I'm still waiting for a response on that.
Yeah. No, seriously, like tell me when he's wrong. Like when people sarcastically
like Lenin famously don't miss.
Yeah, he's never. I mean, literally, I have never seen him wrong. I
mean, like he might not like some of his theoretical points because they were like written very, very quickly in immediate response to things. Might not be 90, might have like only 98% full comprehensive scope as opposed to 100, but he's never wrong about anything.
No, I have not seen him. I have, yeah, I think within this chat, within our chat community, I read the most Lenin out of any of you, and I have yet to see a single instance of Lenin being wrong.
Like like fine if you want to like get like nitty gritty about like theory or whatever, fine, that's another discussion. But as far as polemics go, no, Lenin don't miss.
No. So then he said that you are worse than the people who worship AOC. No, because Lenin.
Drill tweet.
Yeah. Because Lenin, what did Lenin do? Lenin did a lot of good things. Like, I mean, seriously, our czars are alive. No, they're all dead.
Like liberated the peasantry. So.
And liberated Asia. Like there would be no India and China without Lenin. I'm gonna say that. It's kind of funny because when yesterday the People's Party talked about direct action, and I'm like, no, that's.
Oh yeah, that was adorable.
They don't know what like it's like. Do you not know? They said
direct action. Direct action is not sitting on the stoop like you're on lookout for a drug operation and calling it a protest.
It's going in front of somebody's house and physically stopping the landlord.
Jean-Jacques Dessalines is direct action.
Yeah, very direct action.
Very direct action. It's not direct action if it doesn't get results.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's the point of direct action.
Yeah, it's to physically form like for evictions. It's literally physically standing in front of the door and stopping the police from evicting people.
Yeah, by like.
Physically
directly and actively.
Yes. For evictions, that would be.
Yeah, like go figure. That's the key feature of direct action is that it is both direct and active.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's kind of funny. So it's like I then was like, these people like okay, at least he was like she's worse. I could have said she's worse than people who worship Jimmy Dore or Backstreet. Okay, like I said, Lenin at least has done something useful.
Yeah, everything I've ever learned about Jimmy Dore has been against my will.
Yes, me too. I don't want to know anything about Jimmy Dore.
Yeah, I seriously, I've never once been interested.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know way too much about him.
Me too. Exactly. I don't want to know a single thing about Jimmy Dore anymore. But I keep it's like against my will. Yes.
Yeah, it just keeps coming into my timeline. Like who is doing this to me? It's not any one person. Like it's this whole systemic issue that just keeps Jimmy Dore in my timeline.
Yes.
And it's never helpful.
I know. It's always against my will too to find out about anything that Jimmy Dore does. I don't care. Okay, so yesterday I said don't listen to anyone who had not overthrown the Tsar and fought 14 imperial countries and won. And somebody's like, "Why are you defending Jimmy Dore?" I'm like, "No, that's not Jimmy Dore because Jimmy Dore did not overthrow the Tsar."
Who did? Like, I want names. Like, who heard that and thought Jimmy Dore?
I'll show you. Just give me 1 second. It is a very. It's like
give me the meme. Like the ratio's not enough. We have to take his life.
Okay, I will show you this. Yeah. It's Okay. Let's see. Oh my God. I will find this, but yes, it's like, yes, exactly. It's always against my will whenever I don't want to know anymore. Like, why do you guys keep obsessing about?
I think it was like Worldly Bong who called him like a deluded Joe Rogan who doesn't read anything but blog posts and magazine articles.
Okay, look, I said don't listen to anyone on strategy unless they overthrew the Tsar, fought 14 imperialist powers and won. Neither Sam Cedar nor TYT did this. And then, in case it's not clear, I included a picture of the person who did it for stupid people. So that, and I did it just for this reason. Okay, see, notice this is a Russian guy, and he's black and white, and he's not Jimmy Dore. And the guy who, so somebody, Lionel Richards, said that, and I'm like, yeah, this is not Jimmy Dore. I don't get this obsession with him. Who cares? All of this is against my will to find out a single thing about Jimmy Dore, but they won't stop. Okay.
Yep.
So then it's kind of funny because what Chris Lapaco did is that he's only familiar with bourgeoisie politicians, who are opportunists. So they will put their career ahead of everything else. Lenin was not an opportunist. He did a lot of things that were disadvantageous to him. Like, for example, he trolled the British monarchy about how they treated Indians, even though he didn't have to. And it was actually not in his advantage to do that because they were petty and sanctioned him. But he still did it because that was the morally right thing to do. Also, the very first movie played in the Soviet Union was? It was about how the British imperialists were looting India. That was the very first movie they played in the theater in the Soviet, and Lenin, that was Lenin's idea. So yeah, Indians are going to be pro-Lenin for that because he cared about us. He was one of the few people who thought we were human enough and we suffered and that the British were disgusting people. And
I mean, they're like Lenin is like one of the most recognizable people on the planet for like a reason.
In India, in India, like I don't know if you guys know, but if you look at my statues I do on my green screen, there was the 12-foot statue of Lenin in Tiruvalli in Kerala, and all over lots of people are named Lenin in India.
Oh yeah. No, like here's the thing. Like, no matter where you go on the planet, there's three things that everybody recognizes. That's Mickey Mouse, the Batman logo, and Lenin.
And Marx.
Yeah, but like Lenin did all the praxis. So
yeah, absolutely. There are statues. Like, I don't know. Once you get outside of the imperial hellhole, everyone loves Lenin. I mean, what's there not to love? He was an amazing man.
Yeah, Langston Hughes didn't write a poem called Kropotkin Walks. Just gonna say that.
Yeah. Well, look at that. Once you are not in the imperial core. Yeah. Oh, so anyways, but what the thing is that,
no, like here in the United States, it's almost like Lenin doesn't exist. Like, I mean, you can go from kindergarten to a master's degree and never once read a word of Lenin. It's actually kind of amazing.
Yes, Lenin should yes, I agree. We should replace all Confederate. I actually had a troll petition about replacing all Confederate statues with that of Che Guevara.
I support that.
I support that. Yeah. But it's funny. So it's like this. So this is a form of chauvinism. So they say, "Oh, look, my bourgeoisie politicians are opportunist, selfish bastards, and we should not worship them." I mean, I'm not saying you should worship Lenin. Oh, that sounds stupid. It's really stupid for people to admire Lenin or whatever, and then you don't understand what he did and how he's different from any bourgeoisie politician you've been with. It's the same exact thing with Kim Il-sung. If you know what he did, it's like very
more material aid to African liberation struggles than any imperial core white ally alive.
Exactly.
Kim Il-sung. End of story.
End of story. Yeah, I mean, he sent weapons to South Africa and Namibia. Like, end of story. Whatever. Like, what you understand is that it's not a cult of the cult of personality comes because they keep saying that Kim Il-sung probably
everybody who says cult of personality attached to some communist head of state is ignoring the fact that in our nation's capital we have a 555-foot phallic symbol named for George Washington, who we call the father of the country. It's 0% different.
Well, except that
Lenin
did not commit genocide.
Exactly.
And Lenin did not have slaves.
Shockingly, people find the leaders of successful liberation movements very popular.
Yeah.
Like the man who literally led an army that ousted imperial colonial invaders is popular among the people that fought in the army, and the people whose lives that army saved, and the people who are only alive today, nearly 70 years later, specifically because of those decolonial national liberation front efforts.
Hold on. President Jesus asked, who's in Russia? Lenin's more popular, but in India, Stalin's more popular for obvious reasons. In India, Stalin's more popular because Stalin said,
Stalin.
Okay. I guess Matt. What happened to Matt? Yeah. So So then even Pakistan too, I think Stalin's more popular, but you never had access. It's available on Marxist.org free. I'm confused now. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what the word access means. Can you clarify, Mr. Piece of Work? Because okay. Sorry. Okay, that makes sense. So in the 80s, yes. So yes, in the 80s, I can imagine. And Okay, he's back. Okay, excellent. Neil said he said Stalin 3 times, and the censorship Greek goblins disconnected his internet. Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, in Russia, Lenin's obviously more popular, but in India, it's no doubt Stalin.
Oh yeah, because people love eating, and they love people to send that food that let them eat.
and also, yeah, especially if the British created the hunger.
Well, this is my whole thing. Like, I'm Irish diaspora, and when I hear things like Holodomor, I actually find that deeply offensive, because the only reason I'm marooned in the imperial core right now is because my ancestors had to flee an actual manufactured famine to come to the United. Yes, to come to the United States, because it was like pretty much the only place there could go where there might be food.
Yeah.
and not
like slavery.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reason why there was food is because that way they could underpay you for being factory workers.
Exactly. Or basically peasantry working land that was stolen from the Mi'kmaqs. The Mi'kmaqs, by the way, who treated the Irish not as colonizers, but as refugees, because they knew what was up, even though that they came over to work the land that was stolen from the Mi'kmaq. And the Mi'kmaq is the other part of my ancestry. But
yeah, actually, there's I have had David Rovitz on, and he sung his really cool song about the San Patricio's Brigade, and I got a copyright strike, so I can't do that, but look that up. So it's a really good story. It's about John Riley. He's from Ireland, and then he and his gang of Irish people are drafted into the army and sent to the Mexican border. And guess what they do? They defect. They're like, okay, we're not going to be on this gross imperial army. We're going to be fighting the people against these gross imperialists who are trying to steal their land. So they defected and they fought on the Mexican side. They were later killed, but there's actually a big statue of John O'Reilly in Mexico City because he fought. They're called the San Patricio's Brigade. I wish I wouldn't get a copyright strike for putting.
I'm familiar with the song. Like,
when you interview the singer of the song, and the singer is singing his own song, I don't think you should get a copyright.
That's the problem with capitalism. It's not the singer's song. The song is owned by the label and the distributor.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. So, check out my interview with David Rovitz. We talk about John Riley. So, anyways, so that's what you should do, basically, is defect to the Mexican side. That was like so cool. And yeah, but it's kind of funny because so like I said, these people can't have a lack of imagination. They can't actually imagine tearing down status quo. So they would rather rather just pretend that Lenin's just like AOC versus oh my God, this is very unique. And yeah, I mean, that is a lot of what is going on. So what we did learn is that, so the problem is that, okay.
Am I back on?
No, yeah, you are. So the purpose, what I'm trying to say is that this is why you go back to point one. If you are stupid enough to think that the public peace unit in Minnesota with peace officers, whatever. Yeah.
A good thing to watch about this, even though it's fiction, but it is kind of applicable, is the second season of Fargo on Hulu. If anybody has that, watch it.
Is that like, okay? And then there's actually a really funny thing about and as Lenin explains, bourgeoisie reforms are double-handed. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the one on lesser evil. It's hilarious. he's so sarcastic. And we've already read this on the podcast.
I didn't get disconnected again, did I?
No, you're still here. I'm trying to find his. You must. We already read this, but I can't remember which episode.
Okay. Well, while you're looking for it, what I'm going to tell people, like, watch season 2 of Fargo on
What's
Hulu.
Fargo?
It's a series that's loosely based on that Coen Brothers movie from the 90s.
Oh yeah, I remember it.
But okay. it's an anthology series. Like so each season is disconnected in certain ways. Like you don't need to like watch season 1 to know season 2 because it's like totally different characters.
Okay,
but there's this season 2 takes place in Minnesota in the 70s, like late 70s, right as Reagan's coming to power. But there's this interaction between like a professional criminal, a hitman, and a Minnesota police officer played by Ted Danson. And,
he's still alive.
Who was the hit? Yeah, Ted Danson. Yeah. Who's Mike Epps? Mike Epps was the hitman, and like they have this conversation, and Mike Epps is like he makes a comment about the way people are in Minnesota, and the cop says, "Yeah, we're friendly out here," and so Mike Epps, the hitman, says, "Actually, no, you're mighty unfriendly. It's just the way you're unfriendly, like you're doing me a favor."
Yeah.
And like that's all I've been thinking about, like listening to this public safety department talk. Like,
okay, hold on.
It sounds like bullshit, don't you know?
Okay. So look at this. Lenin says we've already read this, and I forgot which episode. Whatever episode's on June 13th. We must choose is the argument opportunists have always used to justify themselves, and they are using it now. Big things cannot be achieved at one stroke. We must be able to fight for small but achievable things. How do you know whether they're achievable? They're achievable if the majority of the political parties or influential politicians agree with them. The larger number of politicians who agree with some tiny improvement, the easier it is to achieve it. We must be utopians and not strive for big things. We must be practical politicians. We must join in on the demand for small things, and these small things will facilitate the fight for big ones. We regard the small things as a sure struggle for the fight for big things. Exactly. But this is very funny. Okay. So this is we're reading about once more. I know I've already read this, but I just wanted to get this. Is it not always clear that the largest number of discontent will always be in favor of the smallest reification of evil? And this is the surest and most practical policy to pursue. And so it is like hilarious that it's exactly that, but this is what is the important part. So Lenin explains that according to bourgeoisie philosophers, the driving force of progress is the unity, as i.e. consensus of all elements in society who realize the imperfections of certain of its institutions. Literally what the Democratic Party argues. Like, the logical deduction from the second theory is that tactics of ordinary bourgeoisie is always progressive. Always and everywhere support what is better. Always choose between reaction and the extreme right of the forces that are opposed to reaction. So reaction. I don't know my left from my right. So
this is some impressive verbosity for lesser evilism.
Hold on.
So like they're actually like arguing that these bourgeois philosophers arguing that progress in society is based around essentially beating conformity into people until they realize that there's nothing they can do about the imperfections in the institutions at large, and they just cope with it any way possible.
Okay, now let's remember.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But let's remember this. More important. Okay. So Lenin always says, we pursue okay. Only by such tactics can reform from above, which are always half-hearted, always hypocritical, and always conceal some bourgeoisie or police snare, be made innocuous. So yeah, bourgeoisie reforms from okay, so the most effective way to secure real reforms is to pursue the tactics of the revolutionary class struggle. Actually, reforms are won as a result of the revolutionary class struggle and as a result of independence and mass force, a steadfastness. Bourgeoisie reforms are always false, ambiguous, as we've seen in the Minnesota police peace officer bill, and permeated with the spirit of Zubatovism. Zubatovism was the head of the Russian police. So, and only the bourgeoisie reforms are real only in proportion to the intensity of the class struggle. By merging our slogans with the reformist bourgeoisie, we weaken our cause of the revolution and consequently of the reform as well. And then he goes through all these examples. So this, okay. I am explaining why you cannot vote your way out of defunding the police, because whenever the bourgeoisie offer reforms, it is always half-hearted and bullshit. Matt is the voice. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So now, what people don't understand is that, yeah. So, literally, yeah. So, the author is Vladimir Lenin. Here, see the link: vilenin.substack.com. Lenin Internet Archive. See here.
Excellent.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this gap and just say that, like, I've been disconnected enough times. I'm getting frustrated, but I just realized it's about 3:15, so I should probably get about my day, putting together sources for my eviction moratorium article.
I can't wait. Okay, so I'll.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a good one.
Okay, so talk to you later.
Okay, absolutely. Had fun. Bye, everybody watching.
Bye. So I was literally talking about, I know, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a hard ass on this, but we were literally talking about Lenin and why Lenin is relevant. Bolsonaris are on the streets protesting against our voting system. Will they live? Yeah, yes, they will. They absolutely will. Yeah, they will. If Wall Street Journal wrote a lot of puff pieces about Bolsonaro. But what I was saying is that it's clear that even if you so the thing is about liberals is that they always assume that they love to straw man. But if you look at the fact that I hate talking about American domestic policies, and don't make me do this again by being extremely stupid, everyone. But what you notice is that the bill is liquid, not solid. It does not explain how they are defunding it. Heck, it does not even defund the police, because there's nothing about funding in that bloody bill that people in Minnesota are voting. It's literally changing the name of the police station to the peace station. And yeah, so, and like I said, liberals are fooled by that because that's how you get Bolsonaro. That's exactly why they get fooled by Bolsonaro supporters being pro-democracy supporters, if Wall Street Journal says it. Because to them, like, it's not about thinking, it's about conformity, and they always do a heart feel. And liberals often betray themselves when they assume that we are just as depraved as them, because they can never believe that there are people who have principles. So that was just really, really funny. That this guy really thought that this Minnesota bill was actually voting to defund the police. And the arrogance of saying that, oh my God, Lenin can't be relevant when you are stupid enough to not read the bill properly is just annoying. I hate liberal arrogance. I get triggered extremely easily by liberal arrogance. I haven't seen your jokes. Can you tell me what your joke is? Anyways, oh, I see. Okay, let me see. Okay, this is a long joke. Let's try this. A Soviet... This is a good joke. Okay. I'm too tired to read it out loud. Yes, exactly. If you had a comfy life, you can be dumb as fuck too. And the funny thing is that these dumb as fuck people don't even have that comfy of a life. They're just dumb as fuck often in America. But yeah, liberals are always like heart feel. They don't read words. They just kind of feel it upon them in their hearts, and that's it. They don't. And for them, it's really easy to make straw man arguments. So yeah. What? Exactly. Who cares? Like, about January 6th? Like, what? Yeah. This again goes back to the fact that liberals do not think in a structural way, because that is not how you how do you dislodge a state apparatus? Well, oh my God. Did Gene Sharp write a manual on how to do coups? Oh yeah, he did. Read it. Yeah. Read it. And well, this is the problem with being in the imperial core, in that poverty in the imperial core looks different than poverty in other places. So that's why I don't know how to explain it other than that. And also it's very confusing. They're just the right amount of people, and they're not the majority. There's no, and the people who are inside the imperial core are, in America at least, are an artificially chosen population because they had mass deportations, etc. Yeah. I don't know what. Yeah. So ultimately, it doesn't matter. The point was that I made a very reasonable, innocuous point that no one can argue that AOC was different than Evo Morales. That's all. And liberals are unable to understand such complicated points unless I kind of walk them through it. And it's painful. I'm so sorry. That really sucks. And yeah, and they can't understand what material gains are and how data works, or any, like, they don't have the skills necessary to have a logical, reasonable first order analysis. Like, you can't even do a first order analysis. Like, you have to basically spoon feed every stupid thing to them. And then this is the worst catch-22 about theory, is that you can't teach people, like, they need to have a little bit of dialectical materialism to know that their stupid bourgeoisie is lying to them. That's really funny. Russian humor is sometimes very graveyard humor because they've suffered a lot. It's funny because when Evo Morales was overthrown, I put up the Lula quote where he said, when Lula says, the elites can kill 1 rose, 2 roses, 100 roses, but they can't stop the arrival of spring. And then Yasha Levine responded to me with saying, Yasha Levine responded to me by saying, well, okay, respond by saying that's climate change. Oh God, I want to okay, so now, oh, it's a Twitter. Okay. Oh, okay. I guess that's dude on Twitch. I should actually avoid him because, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And with that, I hope you guys are liking my impromptu streams. No, I showed it on screen. So, I hope you guys are liking my impromptu streams because I feel that this may be more productive than me talking to people via text because you can't get tones, you can't get things. Actually, one more. Oh my God. Speaking of constitutional illusions, let's handle one more, a really stupid one. Oh yeah. Somebody said protests are performative. No, back in the day, protests were structural. They stopped. I am not blocking chat. You are on a different platform than other people. If you're on Twitch, people on YouTube cannot see you because Twitch is different than YouTube. I'm glad you like them. And yes, please subscribe. But yeah, and I don't know what irritates me more. Liberal, like there's a lot of fuzz, there's no clarity, there's stupidity, and there's idiocy. So I don't know what to say. But liberals are like, I can go on and on about my rant, but I don't know what to say. But other than this is stupid. Don't be an idiot. And yeah. Oh, and once more, and Americans should refrain from weighing in on the Russian Revolution or the USSR because everything they know comes from Reinhard Gehlen. And if you're Canadian, your Vice Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland's grandfather worked for Joseph Goebbels. So shut up. Oh, okay. Really, Americans should not opine on anything. It's not, yeah. It is the cynicism and the stupidity and the fact that they don't really they can't think in a structural way, as in to them it's the state is not like a building that has a function. Okay, building, I don't know, maybe a car that has a function and it runs like a car, it has a transmission. So if you're trying to like, you can't just like continue to drive the car and hope that it starts running on solar power. You have to install whatever solar panels you need on the car, or do whatever is necessary. And so yeah, liberals, well, they've never had a spine. They're actually afraid of the people. I mean, Lenin explains this. Liberals want a better deal with the autocracy because they don't actually like the people. They're afraid of the people. So they want, the only reason they pretend in the beginning to be for the people is so that they can show the autocracy the dangers of not making a better deal, so that and of course, the autocracy is not going to make a better deal because the autocracy does not give power. And yeah, liberalism is a very self-defeating ideology. And yes, Karl Kautsky, that Lenin trolls, his wife died in Auschwitz. So it does not, and he died penniless. after selling out everyone. So there's no personal advantage to that. Their opportunism, it's just stupid and it's vile. So, and it's not like everything people are doing is new. This has been done before a million times. Cleopatra, in the history of things, is closer to the moon landing than she was to the building of the first pyramids. So people don't understand that time has not shifted. So you have to learn from history. For example, let me give you one historical example of a bourgeoisie reform that was half-hearted and was easy to dismantle. Okay, New Deal. How it took like 20, 30 years, Ronald Reagan dismantled it. As soon as the Soviet Union stopped existing, the New Deal was dismantled. You know what is much harder to dismantle? The country of China. I mean, it was pretty hard to dismantle the Soviet Union too. It was done there were some unique situations, which is really, I don't want to get into all the uniqueness of what caused the dismantling of the Soviet Union, but yeah, but yeah, and like I said, the propaganda is so heavy that your idea of reality is 100% inverted. So it took less than 2 generations to dismantle the the New Deal, right? 30s, okay, whatever. I don't know how long is a generation. And yeah, so, or maybe it did. It was not that long. It took till Ronald Reagan, so 1950, 30s, and 1950s. It was a lot of extra. Okay, so the bourgeoisie did make a little bit of a sacrifice in the 1930s, and then in the 1950s, it was imperialism. U.S. was sucking the teat from all sorts of African countries for raw minerals that they underpaid laborers. That's the boomer generation. So yeah, and then when they couldn't suck that much, that's when they dismantled the New Deal. Yeah, so you have to kind of understand the economic reason, the theoretical reason, and you have to understand what your task is. Ultimately, the left is here to dislodge power. The right just needs to write it out. They have an easier task. They own everything. They run everything. And so, yeah, the reason why you need theory is you don't even know what your task is, because that's how well the bourgeoisie hide the ball from you. So, and another thing that liberals do is they assume that just because liberal theory is stupid and gets that we don't have a better method. So it's like I said, it's easier to argue your strawmans. And with that, I will try not to get triggered by any more liberals that cause me to do an impromptu stream. I hope you enjoyed this. With that, like, subscribe, please become a paid subscriber. What? They were doing that in Brazil? Okay, hold on. Let me send you my article about Bolivia. Translate it to Portuguese if you can. And then you will learn why you can't privatize it. Yeah, but please if this is the Brazilian media, please translate this article to Portuguese, and I will republish it on my site. If this is from Brazil. If this is in the US, please read my article in English. Wait, yeah, whatever. Liberals don't do theory because they're too stupid to understand even the task. But yeah, do not allow your water to be privatized. Bolsonaro's forces are trying to, they are afraid of Lula because they know that Bolsonaro is going to be gone very soon. So yes, but yeah, do not ever allow your water to be privatized if it can be helped. anyways, and yeah, feel free to translate my article to Portuguese if as a cautionary tale. Go for it. Just link back to the original. But yeah, do not ever allow anyone to privatize your water. Whew. Anyways, with that, I will say bye-bye. Auf Wiedersehen.